welcome to the very first episode of AMC Heroes. I'm Jon Schnepp, and I'll be hosting this sweat fest every week, where we're going to be talking about all the superhero movies that have been told to us that are coming out over the next 15 to 38 years. We're going to be talking about all the superhero movies from beginning to end, all the possibilities, casting decisions, directing, trailers, you name it, we're going to be covering it here. And we're also sometimes going to be showing up at different conventions. So you never know when we'll be dropping by. We might be at WonderCon, we might be at San Diego Comic-Con, covering some events and talking about it. You'll see it here on AMC Heroes. Joining me, as always, will be Jon Campea, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, everybody. You know, when you do realize we shoot this in the Valley, right? And if we say sweat fest and shooting something in the Valley, that could mean something completely different.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, to all the sweaty nerds watching, we know what it is. And also joining us here is Jim Kruger, an amazing comic book writer, and we're happy to have him.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Jim.
Yeah, thanks. I was held at gunpoint once. I know what it's like.
That is a true sweat fest. Well, kicking it off today, we're going to cover, we're going to be pretty topical with the news. You guys, thanks for tuning in. That's going to wrap it up for AMC Heroes. Let me thank our guest, Jon Campea. Where can people find you on the internet?
Hey, guys, you can find me on all the various different AMC shows, but you can also follow me on Twitter and on Facebook, just at Jon Campea.
And don't forget to watch the show that Jon Campea started, AMC Movie Talk. It's on daily. Jim Kruger, where can people find you online?
Both on Twitter and Instagram. It's I am Jim Kruger.
And you brought a couple comics.
Yeah,
you have some stuff
yeah.
that's available right now. Let's talk about it.
This has just hit on Amazon. It'll be in comic shops in about 3 months, but people can get it now. It's called The High Cost of Happily Ever After. It's really about, it's the anti-Disney romantic princess movie. It's like it opens with the wedding, then he goes to war, goes down in battle, and she becomes a prisoner, and it's all about the heroic journey of the damsel in distress.
And
awesome.
it looks fantastic. I got a chance during lunch to flip through it. The art is fantastic. The storytelling technique that Jim has is really,
And that's available
really
on
cool.
Amazon right now?
Yeah.
Check it out on Amazon. And also, if you haven't known about Jim Kruger's work, you might know him from his work with Alex Ross on a ton of amazing, Justice and a bunch of other things. But Jim, talk about Foot Soldiers.
Foot Soldiers is one of those things that I'm optioning all the time. Actually, it's a story of 3 teens that go to the graveyard where all the superheroes are buried, and they rob the graves. That's how they get their powers. They try to fill the actual shoes of the original heroes.
Right on.
And I've got Volume 2 in development right now, and Volume 1's out. So
Movie producers, you heard that. It's still available. Talk to this man. Instagram him, tweet him, get the Foot Soldiers happening. We'll see you guys next week. I'm Jon Schnepp. You can find me at Instagram at Jon Schnepp and at TDOSLWH. I've got a little documentary coming out May 1st. It's called The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened. It's been my honor to host the very first episode of AMC Heroes, and I'll see you guys next week. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Heroes, episode 16 on Collider Video. What's going on, everybody?
Woo!
It's Jon Schnepp here, and we're back to talk about more superheroes and villains on our favorite show where we sweat it out with Jon Campea. What's up, Jon Campea?
So good to be back on. I mean, I obviously haven't been on in a number of weeks,
That's right.
but then the show was off air because you were traveling, and now we make our triumphant return, the first Heroes on our new home in Collider Video. Very
That's
excited.
right. And really happy to welcome back guest Chris Gore. What's up, Chris
Yes.
Gore?
Thank you. Hey, thanks for having me back. This
Brought
is
me
awesome,
something
man.
to drink.
Cannot
This
wait.
is awesome.
Yeah, we might win a ticket.
That's right.
Who
What
knows?
do you got there?
Might
What's
win a
going
ticket
on?
to Fantastic Four. Well, there's Orange Crush, and now there's Grape Crush,
Right.
and apparently 2 other flavors that you can actually 1 in 10 wins a ticket to see the Fantastic Four.
That's a good contest.
So for $1.79, you might actually save yourself some money.
And one
So-
is orange like the thing, and the purple one is what?
Yeah, the purple one is Mr. Fantastic, of course,
what are
Miles
the-
Teller.
What are the other flavors?
And then the other one is Naked Thing.
Yeah, Naked Thing. Now,
Naked
what
Thing.
How does he
Thing
pee?
has no thing.
How does he pee?
We'll talk about
Schnepp,
Fantastic Four
he's
Spring.
made out of stone.
Yeah.
Everybody knows there's no water in stone.
Or
That's what I
blood.
guess.
Blood
Or
from
blood,
a stone.
yes.
You can't get
Very,
that either.
very interesting thing.
And
Saturday.
Jesse Eisenberg will be there as well.
Saturday at 10 o'clock.
10:30 a.m.
10:30. So
Hall H.
I'm going to have to find someone that I must kill to get in to see that. I didn't know when that.
You got to get the wristbands now. It's
Oh,
really
God.
complicated. It's
enter a lotto. Forget it.
I guess
Well,
the guys at WB can just
Yeah,
get
I'm
us
just
in
going to
the
have.
back.
Yeah.
But they've been good.
Star Wars: The Force Awakens panel. You guys were both there, right?
I'm not going to be there.
I'm not.
No. The one that just the Star Wars Anaheim.
Oh,
one.
at
where they
I
showed
was
the trailer.
yes, I was there. I was there.
I
at
was in
Star
Las
Wars Celebration.
Vegas collecting our award.
Trailer for Tron, that test demo footage.
Right.
A couple friends were like, "It's already online." It was like that weird trapezoidal
Right.
footage film. really horrible to watch. But I remember watching it like 8 times. I could not believe, because it just popped out of nowhere. They're making another Tron movie. No one had heard about it. It was so top secret. I had not heard a blip about it. And then it was like, there's a Tron movie, and it's like that light cycle test. I mean, that was pretty cool. When Disney finally released that full test footage, it was badass. You know? Bateman, Batman, they were just like, look, he's just one letter away. Just take that one letter and he's already Batman. So, well, I mean, just both Snyder and Affleck, being giant comic book fans and knowing the material inside and out and knowing the right kind of material. Not only is Affleck a fan of Batman, but he's a fan of the right kind of material that Batman, like The Dark Knight Returns, Year One. He's a fan of that, just like Snyder. Snyder, like when he did Watchmen, I knew Watchmen was going to be something special because of his approach, the way he talked about how he was adapting the material. It's very important. It's like a lot of directors and writers come on and just like, we're going to go from a page one approach, or we're going to reinterpret it our way. It's like, and that works sometimes and it doesn't. But like with something like The Dark Knight Returns, when you're liberally borrowing certain sequences from, say, the sequence when Batman is in the armor that's right out of that's directly lifted, and it looks cool in the way it's shot. And I think they're even going to use some of the dialogue from it. I think what they're doing is they've created a new reason for people to hate Superman. Like in The Dark Knight Returns, people didn't even know Superman existed anymore. Superheroes were retired, and he's basically working for the American government, just doing whatever the president says. Go do this, go do that, take out Batman. So it became Batman was a risk. This version is sort of like, the people are like, what is this creature that destroyed half of Metropolis? And a lot of people have anger issues with Superman. Look, he's going to have a lot to deal with becoming this character, Superman. From Man of Steel to this interim movie before Man of Steel 2, he's going to have to answer to Batman, because one of those buildings that they took down is Bruce Wayne's building. And if it happened to have a lot of people in it, which it seemed like when you watch the movie, they weren't evacuating the city. I mean, they were, but it was like people were still in those buildings by the time they're, smashing through them, and buildings are just falling. And so there's a lot of collateral damage, and it gives you a reason to like not only think that maybe Lex Luthor has a reason to hate Superman for that, but now Bruce Wayne has a reason, a very personal reason to hate Superman, and to come out and like teach him a lesson, so to speak, if only just to take him down, Bright,
you remember that plot,
right? But Bright as to what point? I mean, he's only human. He doesn't even know he's an alien until he activates it. He didn't know there's going to be an armada of angry Kryptonians out for his blood. True. Give him a break.
Yeah, let's cut him a little slack. I
cut Man of Steel quite a lot of slack, because it's his first. He's the greatest American hero at the beginning of, like, once he puts that outfit on, he's falling, he's jumping, he's trying to learn how to fly, he's just learning his powers, and then a whole army of Kryptonians come to whoop his ass. He hasn't even that's his first battle. So people are like, how come they didn't take him out? He didn't take him out of the city. He saves a bunch of people in Smallville. It's just too much. Like, he's like dealing with just trying to hold Zod back from just mass destruction, as to also why he had to snap his neck. It's one of those things where I know Michael Shannon quoted himself saying, it's either you or me.
Yeah.
And he said that straight up. It's like, you're going to have to kill me, because I won't stop until you're dead. Hey, look, all I can say is Dr. Doom better not die by falling. And that brings us to our next subject.
Yes.
Fantastic Four versus Dr. Doom. So here we go. Josh Trank says, we'll see an epic multi-power battle between the Fantastic Four and Dr. Doom in the brand new film, featuring all 4 Fantastic Ones versus the Doomed One. Both Trank and Simon Kinberg are hyper aware of the comparisons to the 2 craptastic movies that came before, and are going out of their way to say this one is not only different, but better. What do you guys think? We've seen the trailers, we've seen a couple of commercials right now that show a little bit more footage, and now we've got this.
But will they have the halls of justice?
Well, they won't have them yet. Yeah, not yet. But in the next film, they will. So they're going to have to fight Doomsday first, or something like that.
I love that cartoon. I love that cartoon.
Who would not like that? Speaking of Doomsday and Justice League, let's go into the modern world flashback, which I like to call flashback. It's a flashback about a movie that came out. Let's talk about Watchmen. Came out in 2009. Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons, Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons' seminal graphic novel masterpiece, Watchmen, the comic book series that, along with The Dark Knight Returns, helped bring comic books under a new light of appreciation, as not just for kids, but for adults as well. Watchmen was finally adapted for the big screen by Zack Snyder, and it carried with it almost all of Alan Moore's storyline and his dialogue, even though Alan Moore opted out to be not credited. Thanks to From Hell and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, those movies soured him on all the adaptations of his work for the future as well. Snyder used the comic as cinematic storyboards, taking some of the carefully composed 12-panel pages and breathing life into them, combining them, adding to them, and keeping the look and tone incredibly close to the comic. Granted, they had to axe some of the end bits and reconstruct the pyramid scheme, taking out the alien squid and simplifying the story structure just to contain it to almost 3 hours. I think this is one of the best adaptations of any comic book movie put to screen, and this is truly one of my favorite comic book movies. So let's talk about Watchmen. The
Narrators, male
reason
and
they
female.
didn't do 2 narrators and the reason they just had a guy
Why?
read it is because they didn't want to make it better than the movie.
Really?
Yeah, that's a definite reason, because they realized, look, if we add sound effects and we have different people play different voices, which is very cheap, you just do it as
They had
voiceover.
music on it. It's
Exactly.
It's amazing.
I'm saying the reason they didn't do that is to make it not as good as it could have been. I personally, honestly believe that, because
It's probably a budget thing.
It couldn't be. To add
probably a
one
budget.
other voice, it's $1,000. It's not that.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with that. Somebody up top was like, we don't want to make it so that they don't want to watch the movie. If they just adapted the comic, which they did, it's panel by panel.
And stuff
Reading it,
moves, and it's
yeah.
minor animation.
It's like Slidomation.
It's like that cheesy animation from the early Marvel.
Yeah, it would have
things.
been 1,000
Where, like,
times
an
better
arm-
if they had 2 different people playing the men and the women. I agree with you. It's a great adaptation, but we're talking about the movie, and I think if you haven't seen the director's cut, which is it's like 30 minutes longer, try searching out Watchmen Extended Edition. It's like got a pirate on the cover. It's almost 4 hours. That's the version you should watch, because that to me is the truest adaptation of what the comic book was. There's a lot of liberties they take. There's different changes. I always look at the comic book as the number 1, the first thing, and everything else is like an Elseworlds. That's the way I look at movies. They're the Elseworlds version of comic book. We are going to close our episode 16 of Heroes here at Collider Video. Let me thank my guests, Chris Gore. Where can people find you this week at San Diego Comic-Con?
You'll see me this weekend, San Diego Comic-Con. Follow my adventures at that Chris Gore. Go to chrisgore.com.
Campea, where can people find
You
you?
can find me every day on I'm going to say that a long time. On Collider Videos, on Movie Talk on Collider Video. Also at Comic-Con, you can find me at the Masters of the Web panel on Friday at 11:30 a.m. in room 5AB. Joining me will be guys like Jeremy Johns, Chris Stuckman. Of course, Jon Schnepp's going to be there. Mark Ellis, Great Drake is going to be. It's going to be a lot of fun. Join us.
And you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram, just at Jon Schnepp, at TDOSLWH. I just put the first 10 minutes of my film, The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened. It's on YouTube on my Schnepp Zone channel. Go check it out. Watch it. If you dig those 10 minutes, you can do a pre-order at www.tdoslwh.com and get the film, or you can come and get the film in person. I'll have the Blu-rays and the DVDs at booth 3915 at the San Diego Comic-Con. I'll be on his panel. I'll be on Chris Gore's Pod Crash panel. We're doing a lot of fun stuff. I'll be jumping around. I probably won't make it into Hall H, so I'm going to have to ask all of you weird sweaties, what did you see? I want to know what you guys saw for Batman v Superman. So come on by, say hi. Once again, booth 3915 will be there for the entire convention. And this was episode 16 of Heroes. I'll see you guys next week. That's right. Welcome back. I'm back. I'm happy to be back.
Hey, welcome back to yourself. I love that.
I'm welcoming myself back because I missed myself being on this show.
Welcome back.
Going
Welcome
on?
back.
Hey, welcome back.
Also, here's Jeremy Johns.
I would like to welcome Schnepp back any day. In fact, you're worth 2 of me, Schnepp. There's going to
No.
be 2 Schnepps here now instead of 1 me. I'm going back to sleep. And Morton's.
Also, here, Christian Harloff.
Hey, Petey, welcome back. I got to tell you, I've been missed.
Hey.
It's the bit. It's like you were in the shop. What were you doing?
I'm just hanging out a little bit, doing some things, you know.
You got some gas?
I had some do some things. Take care of some business.
Well, it's better than the shit rats. Before we
I'm gonna go see it drunk. I haven't seen it yet, but anybody who's gonna be at San Diego Comic-Con, late night screening of Transformers 3D with my dumbass drunk. We're gonna.
There's no way you're going to make that.
Oh yeah.
You're going to be at the parties. I will bet a hefty wager.
All right.
No way you make that.
Christian just talked some sense into me. After I know, Christian just ruined it for everybody. He has zero conviction. He's right. There's
Everybody
gonna be
shows up
parties.
waiting. Where's Schnepp?
I know.
He's been hammered
so
since
you
6.
some party. Yeah, that would suck.
honestly, the way to do it would be to do it in the morning. I know you shouldn't drink before 11 a.m. according to my doctor, but if you do that in the morning, then you're not going to fall asleep. Because if you're doing all day at Comic-Con, then
Right.
you go see Transformers and you're doing a drinking game, you're going to be out by hour 1.
Yeah.
All right, I take it back. I lied.
You know what? I've been wanting to do this for a long time. We will get it on the books.
Yeah, let's do it.
At some point. Just
Here in
maybe
LA.
not-
We'll do it here.
We'll do it here in LA. Jon Schnepp.
I'm feeling very emotional. We're talking about crap, son. We're going to Vegas. We're taking things down. We're going to make some money and lose it all. I'm so tired and bored of talking about the Batman. I was like, it's $1 billion property. It's one of the most beloved characters. Can't they figure it out and get it right? I mean, we should have seen a Batman movie a year after Man of Steel.
Yeah.
And Man of Steel came out in what was it, 2012, or am I imagining? things?
13.
Was it 13?
13.
Still, now it's 5 years later. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. It's, you know, if I was in charge of Warner Brothers, I would fire every single person who was in charge of all of the DC movies tomorrow. We're going to talk about a dude getting fired from some other studio. I'd fire all of those people because they are sucking at their job. There's one guy over at Marvel who seems to be doing all these phases and stuff they started doing in 2008, and then DC was trying to play catch up and failing miserably every single year. And this is just indicative of it. And so I'm not a DC hater. I love DC comic book characters. I go to the comic book store every week and buy different DC comics. So I'm far from that. But what I am a hater on is when you have a bunch of bumbling nincompoops in charge of these properties who keep failing upwards. They're failing forwards, and that's what I hate seeing. You see it happen
You just described our career, man, so be careful
Well,
about
hey,
that.
look, you know, a lot of people fail forward successfully, and others just suck. And I'm talking about the ones who suck. And it's very obvious you can't figure out how to make a Flash movie. You've tried 75 directors, 185 scripts. Why don't you go back in time and stop sucking and get it right?
And, but to be fair,
That's like
Riley like that one.
That is the best thing to write in somebody's yearbook. When you sign my yearbook, why don't you go back in time and stop sucking? Have a great summer, Jon Schnepp.
Exactly. I would say split the difference. They went and dipped back into the pool by getting James Earl Jones. They should double dip and get Jeremy Irons because it is going to be
Double dip.
It's a total dip. I know.
Happy button.
Hang on a second. Hit that button. Double dip, son. Anyway. The show has
often
just
we
gone
make
into the
Schnepp crack.
perverse zone. Trying to say something here.
Hey, this show may have some rough times, so it's going to have a happy ending.
Oh, God. Anyway, I think it's a totally different interpretation. That's all I have to say. It's not animated the old school way. It's animated the new school way. So having those two actors come back on to give that kind of everything old is new again version, I don't mind it. Total big buy for me. I was in the theater with you and Wendy when we saw Lights Out.
Wendy was our little small sandwich in the middle between two of us.
And we were screaming at don't go down in the basement. Like it was one of those like, come on, like it's super tense. Yeah, it might have cost $15, but it was an incredible movie, and you would never knew that it was a low-budget film. She's super talented. I can't wait to see the film. I don't think it's going to make $200 million. I think it's going to make $198 million. No, I just think it's going to make a hair under. Like I'm going to say 190.
The Oracle has Ramses to me.
No. I want to be wrong. I want Ellis to take this crown. So I like the JTE winning one that just happened because the guy who was like who says names wrong all the time seems kind of like a dullard. He is pretty smart.
A dullard.
Yeah, I remember like doing a movie fights with him, and he kept saying the wrong stuff for Indiana Jones, and telling him I want to reach across the table and smack him. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Short-runned or what? He kept saying. It was like, come on, dude. But he's actually pretty smart, and he's got a skill set. So I was very happy to see that. Hey, what's going on, sweaties?
Hey, what's up?
That's what's up. We're live, baby. It's episode 100. That's right. It's a super giant size, extra sweaty, super spectacular episode. And the only way to make it even more sweaty is there's so many people in this power-packed house. I'm going to get into introducing people right away, starting with the man right next to me, Jon Campea. What's going on?
What's up, everybody? 100th episode. What was it just you and me sitting like
I
at
think so.
that little desk like 1 foot apart
Yes,
from
it
each other
was.
for the first one?
Me and John have been doing this for many years now, like 4.5 years. And John was like, "Hey, I think you should host this like this nerd thing about superhero movies." And I was like, "All right, let's do it." Back at the AMC days, you can watch those. Those are still on YouTube. It's got the red background. We turned green, son, for money. That's right. You know who's next to me? Also, right next is Robert Meyer Burnett.
Hello there. It's great to be here. I since you invited me on this little nerd journey with you, I think I've become a better person and a better man. I want to thank you for that.
That's
I wanna
right.
How
thank you
bad
for that.
were you before?
That's right.
I was well, kind of like I wasn't bad. I was drawn that way.
Oh. You know who else is drawn that way? Jeremy Johns. He's right here.
Jerry's here.
Well, I am bad, and I am drawn that way. Yeah, thanks for having me on the 100th episode, Super Nerd Fest with the Jack's Joker right behind me. I
Yeah.
couldn't say no to that. It's a packed house tonight, my man.
That's right. And you know what else? We're packed over on the other side. That's right. We took over the Schmo set. Check it out. Look who's over there. We got Comic Book Girl 19,
Hey
She's
guys.
in the house.
Yeah, I'm
Hey.
in the house. I'm doing it.
And right next to her is David Griffin.
What's happening?
You know, he's a golfer.
That's right. David
Oh,
Griffin.
that's right. He does golf. I forgot about
Does
that.
David Griffin golf?
He does.
Great
yes.
sport. Yeah, it's great.
Excited about it.
Sorry, golfing and car racing.
Air hockey.
Anyway, and we've got Jason Inman right over here.
I'm
Jason?
excited to join this power pack. I'm claiming the role as Franklin. Franklin Richards.
That's right. The Power Pack is in full house. Ashley V. Robinson, welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me back. If we're claiming roles, I want to be Wonder Woman. So.
All right. Well, I think
Good
Comic
trailer.
Book Girl 19 is going to be Dazzler right off the bat. I'm
Yeah,
getting
that or
into it.
Phoenix or Kid Omega, whatever. You know,
Take
any of those weird
any one of
telepaths
those.
and
Well,
stuff.
Got like a Quentin Quire hairdo going on right now.
Yeah, it used to be pink. It was more Quentin Quire. Now it's Joker-ish.
That's right. And Amy Dallin will be here. I'm sure she's just stuck in traffic right now, so you'll see her fun face later.
My
Let's
girl.
get right into it. We're going to get right into the very first thing, and then we're going to talk about the past. So I'm going to ask everyone here, what was a comic book movie or TV show or even comic book that influenced you when you were a kid, a younger adult, like when you were a youngster? Like we're going some of us are pretty damn old, like myself. So I'm like, yo, Superman, 1978. Most of you freaks watching this, we're born after Batman, 1989. You don't even, Superman, that's from the olden days.
Don't give away our
Anyway,
secrets.
Look, I saw Superman 1978 when I was a kid. F you if you got problems with that. But, whatever. Let's talk about it. You know what's awesome? You guys who watch the show and you provide us with so much fan art. You like drawing all of us weirdos who are sweated out for you guys every day, every week. And so over the last couple of years while we've been doing the show, collecting all that fan art, and I want to just do a fan art tribute. We've cut this together. It took me longer. Originally I thought it would take about 4 hours. It took about 11 hours. So here we go. Let's rock into that first segment.
Hello, this is George Perez, and to all of you watching Collider Heroes, congratulations on your 100th episode.
Hey there, happy 100th episode, Collider Heroes. Never doubted it for a second.
Hey, Collider Heroes, it's me, Chris Burnham. Happy 100th birthday, guys. That is amazing.
Hi, this is Bill Sienkiewicz here at Cantor's Deli in Los Angeles, wishing Collider Heroes a happy 100th episode.
Collider Heroes, coming to save the day. Hosted by Jon Schnepp and friends. Superhero news on every Tuesday. Well, I don't know what you've been told, but the heroes are on the case to bring you so much comic book news that you might not feel your face. Yeah, you might not feel your face. Collider is the place. Yeah! Join the Sweaties once a week for an hour of good times. DC and Marvel, who gives a damn? They're both heroes fighting crimes. These super hosts are in their primes. Our Collider Heroes.
That's right, the real
So
Sweaties.
much good stuff.
It's
So much good stuff.
Yeah, all of us were just like, wow, this is some incredible stuff. It was really fun. That's, everybody kept throwing stuff in. And anybody who were stragglers, we're going to have your stuff in episode 101, the Straggle episode, which will be there'll be a segment for the stragglers. So
Speaking of stragglers.
The straggle's real.
Oh my God.
Speaking of stragglers.
Yeah, transformation is happening. Jeremy Johns, goodbye. Thank you for being part one. And here's Amy Dallin.
Amy's here.
Hey. Glad you can make it.
So many of my favorite people are here. I'm really sorry, Jeremy.
Ask you the same question.
He wants
though,
to go.
right?
He say, I can go sleep now. He's totally fine. He wants to go sleep. What the fuck are they doing to my mind? It was like, what's going on? I can't wait to watch the next episode. It's been a long time since I felt that excited and freaked out and weirded out, but into a series. So that's one for me as well. You know what we don't have to wait for is we're going to watch the history of the Hot Toys, and not only the Hot Toys action figure line, but the Mego figure line. Robert Meyer Burnett, a Hot Toy sweaty himself, has put together this amazing video. He beat me for staying up over the hours. I was like, oh, I can't believe I'm here till 11:30 exporting this video. I don't think this man has slept, and you're going to see why. Roll it.
What is up, my sweaties? R&B coming at you from deep inside Industry Studios in Castaic, California. Here's where I have my office and edit bay, where I'm currently editing the indie comedy Tango Shalom. I have a lot of my collection of odds and ends here inside my edit bay to give me all kinds of inspiration when I'm working long hours. So I figured I'd show you around my office and try and explain to you all why exactly am I so obsessed with Hot Toys figures. It really all began when I was a little kid. My favorite toys in the world were 6-scale, 12-inch G.I. Joe action figures. They had real hair and later kung fu grip. This was the adventure team. They had the greatest accessories, the greatest vehicles. They were the greatest toys in the world. They even had a submarine that you could submerge in a bathtub or a swimming pool. They had an amazing headquarters, and they had what I thought was the greatest vehicle of all time, the mobile support vehicle. But then some brain trust gave us this guy, Bullet Man, a faux superhero to join the adventure team. It was the first time as a kid I thought a toy was stupid. But then Mego came along, offering us the world's greatest superhero 8-inch action figures, and I forgot all about G.I. Joes. But even as a kid, I'd get pissed off when toy companies did stupid things, like give me this kind of a Batmobile with a Batman sticker on the door? Really? Where was the Bat insignia? Why was it too small? Why couldn't it look like a real Batmobile? Why were they making a Hulk figure that was 8 inches like every other figure? Or making Iron Man's armor out of fabric? Or worse yet, the Human Torch's flames out of fabric. They gave us Tarzan, whose bare skin was made of fabric. And Mego didn't stop with superheroes. They got other licensed properties like Star Trek, Planet of the Apes. Heck, Mego even got the Wizard of Oz. If you wanted licensed figures, Mego was your company. But they kept doing stupid things. Like the Star Trek aliens, the Gorn was dressed in a Klingon outfit. The Keeper, who looks like Baylock, kind of? I don't know. But they also made Shogun Warriors, and they made Micronauts. And for a long time, Mego was the coolest toy company on the planet Earth. Then in 1977, action figures changed forever with the release of Star Wars. Kenner Toys introduced a 3 3/4-inch action figure line, and everybody in the universe bought Star Wars action figures, including me, and I love them, but secretly I also hated them, because none of them looked anything like what they were supposed to look like. Why couldn't the Landspeeder look like a Landspeeder? Why did Luke Skywalker look like this? Why were the lightsabers in 2 pieces? Why did the TIE Fighter have to have small wings? And why was I supposed to be excited about some spring-loaded feature where the wings would blow off the side of the TIE Fighter to simulate an explosion? I could do that in my own imagination. But anyway, I bought them all, and everybody loved them. And now, over 30 years later, never in my wildest childhood imaginings could I have ever foreseen that action figures have been taken to a high art. And Hot Toys is the absolute pinnacle of this. It's exactly what I dreamt of when I was a child, feeling disappointed in almost every licensed toy I ever bought. This is my Hot Toys case in my office. The top shelf for the Avengers and other Marvel characters. I mean, look at the likenesses. I love assembling them together. There's even a little Guardians of the Galaxy flavor in there. Then, of course, we got 2 eras of Supermen, 2 Jor-Els. We've got civilian Dark Knight characters and the Dark Knight himself. The 3rd level, I've got Bat villains. 2 generations of those as well. Tim Burton Batman. I've got 4 different Wolverines. Fantastic. Then on the bottom level, I got sci-fi movies. I got RoboCop and Ed 209. I got The Crow. I got Jeff Bridges from Tron Legacy. I got the Alien from Alien 3. I got a Predator. I got 2 Terminators. And I got Ripley. These are some of my favorite figures. The first Hot Toys figures I noticed in the aughts were the Predator and the Alien figures they did. The Predator figures have always been great, but this is the re-release of the Celtic Predator. The first Predator figures they had to release as action figure kits. This is, of course, Jack Nicholson as the Joker. Look at the facial sculpt on this. It's amazing. Look at the clothing. It's just beautifully tailored. So much fun. Here's, of course, Jor-El and Superman. They only released Jor-El for Superman Returns and never in the United States. But this Christopher Reeve figure is amazing. I love keeping the 2 of them together. I like to believe they're supposed to be together. That head sculpt is 11 years old. Hot Toys has far surpassed that. Anthony Mackie's The Falcon is a favorite figure of mine. I mean, look at the detail in the costuming, the detail on on his wings. The engineering is just stunning on figures like this, and they have the new stand so it can hold our characters aloft. This is, of course, Captain Harlock from Lee J. Matsumoto's Galaxy Express 999 universe. I love this character. This is from the CG movie that was released a few years ago. Just a fantastic animation figure. Love it. And my favorite Hot Toys figure, this is Rocket and Groot. Again, the engineering on this figure is amazing. The paint ops, everything about this figure is just stunning. These guys come together or separately. Just amazing figures. I love having them together. And this is, of course, my favorite Hot Toys figure of all time. The Don himself, Vito Corleone from The Godfather. What a face sculpt. He's my third Marlon Brando figure I have. I think what I love most about action figures is they're the distillation of all the imagination that went into creating those characters in the first place. Their legacy of talented writers and artists and animators and visual effects technicians and actors and everyone who contributed to the legacy of those characters can be distilled down into one figurine that goes on a desk, a figurine that can inspire you every time you wake up in the morning. That's kind of how I've always felt about action figures, and I guess that's why I've always loved them so much. That, and we finally live in a time where I can get a Batmobile that looks like the Batmobile. A Batmobile that's properly scaled, that fits the characters the way it's supposed to fit the characters. We live in wondrous times, my friends. Don't I always say that?
That's right. What an amazing historical look at all the action figures that infest all of our homes right now. I'm sure you could look away from your computer screen and see at least 5 or 6 action figures that you've played with. I think it's great. Thank you, Robert, for putting that together.
Yeah, I think I have to say I'm a year behind. I mean, my action figures in my office are like I haven't brought in the last year's worth of Hot Toys.
Well, and you're still waiting for your what is it, the Super Hulk Buster
the
Iron
Hulk Buster,
Man?
where is that? I mean, I've still got half the Avengers boxed up at home.
And that, I feel like I'm more excited about the 4th untitled Avengers movie than I am about Infinity War, because I feel like I kind of understand what they're going with Infinity War. They're like, let's bring all these characters together for some cosmic thing. Thanos is going to be in it. You're going to have a bunch of other characters introduced. You have 58 other characters. Spider-Man's going to get his symbiotic, outfit, and all kinds of crazy stuff is going to happen. So I feel like it's going to be a mixture of Secret Wars and a whole bunch of their kind of intergalactic comics. What's more inspiring to me is like Thor Ragnarok. How did the Hulk get on planet Hulk, which is basically they're taking Ragnarok, they're taking the story of Surtur from Thor, and they're bringing that in with Planet Hulk and combining it. It's not going to be like either of those comic book series, but to me it's intriguing because the Illuminati from the comic books, they can't do that because of the rights issues. They don't own Reed Richards, but they do have Doctor Strange, they have Black Panther, they got Tony Stark. I'm thinking that those guys got together and banished the Hulk using Doctor Strange's magic. The Hulk is on Planet Hulk, whatever you want to call the planet. I don't know if it's going to be Scar or whatever, but I think the 4th Avengers movie is going to be World War Hulk. I think the Hulk is coming back and he's pissed and he wants revenge on those guys. They don't need Reed Richards.
That you just excited me to no end. I mean,
that's what
come
I'm
on.
saying. I'm thinking about
with Dayglow colors too. The new Dayglow colors.
That's right.
I
The green Scar is here.
Oh.
Who knows? So a lot of people are kind of chiming in saying Taika is like, hey, it looks, especially from the Entertainment Weekly, those pictures, people are like, why is it so colorful? It's like, first of all, read a comic. Then you might shut the hell up and understand what Jack Kirby is all about. Sorry, I know all the people watching this were like, we know who Kirby is. I know. But every once in a while, somebody's like, I don't like it. It looks goofy. It's like, well, relax. You haven't even seen the movie yet. Yeah, it's called having some fun. So I think what Thor Ragnarok is going to be is awesome. I can't wait to see it. What pops off to you, John? Let's start with you.
I know. That's why I'm always.
Campea might be the only guy I know that loves Man of Steel as much as I do. Every time I talk to him, I
too.
say,
Hey.
oh, you
Me
do?
too.
Really?
Oh, I do too.
All right,
Why don't you relax, son? You're sitting at the table. We all love Man of Steel. What's up? Well, he's probably going to have that black suit. Yeah, maybe he's been. I've been transformed by Darkseid. I have no idea. But how about you, 19? She's got a giant lockjaw.
Yeah.
Look how big that dog is.
Yeah.
A teleporting dog. Come on.
You've seen the picture, right, of the big green?
Yeah. I want that in my house. Just a giant blue dog, and I'll never tell people what it is. They just have to know.
This time next year, it'll be like, what's your favorite toy? And we'll all be like, life-size lockjaw.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
I just want the blue foam lockjaw. If someone could make that for me and transport it to my house immediately. It doesn't have to teleport. But yeah, I'm the most jacked up about the Inhumans.
Marvel licensing is missing out if they don't make that the world's best beanbag.
Oh my God, what a good idea. I'm just going to hang out on my giant lockjaw beanbag. See you in 4 weeks. I love that you mentioned the Adam Warren little grunge.
I loved that. We had like the same childhood, except I would have been terrified to talk to you. I was such a dork. Like everyone hated me. Like it was not. I was not cool back then. It was not. No.
Ladies, you were totally cool. If you were into comics, you're super cool. Never say that.
Not in 1996.
Yeah, and in Alabama. No, that's not the thing.
I don't believe him for a second. Don't listen to these ladies. They're crazy. A clown sorcerer named Jimulox. That's who I would be.
That seems correct.
I would be able to go through different dimensions, all the different Earths, and either make people laugh or help them. So that would be my power. Be like, if somebody's bummed out, I would show up like, "What's up, motherfucker? And let's go on a journey, son."
You're like
what you do
Gandalf,
every
clown
day?
I do that already, but I
You
would
show
just
up to the house every day.
Yeah, I would just be like wearing like some kind of Doctor Strange cloak that could talk to me, and I'd also have clown
Nice,
face
yes.
makeup. It'd be part nightmare, part fun. Jimmy locks. Check it out. A Total Recall scene. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Right.
2 weeks. Fortnite. You know what I
That's
mean?
me, Fortnite. I'm
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, we
That's it.
went through it. That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a
And chat, tell us what our team name is.
Yeah, chat the Collider Heroes Sweaties. You have to come up with the team name for us 8 superheroes, and I'll announce it next week. So write in a really cool name. You know what? That's it for the 100th episode of Collider Heroes. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for 90 minutes of sweaty flavor. I want to thank everyone who showed up to rock the panel boat. Amy, where can people find you online?
You can find me at EnthusiAmy on Twitter. And I just want to say thank you all for the amazing art. And I can't believe it's episode 100. This has been such a joy.
Right on. 19, where can people find you?
You can find me at CBGirl19 on Twitter, and you can also find me on YouTube, Comic Book Girl 19. I just released a Logan review where I just totally just broke down and cried all out throughout the whole thing, and it's very vulnerable and very raw, and I was feeling a little raw. So check it out.
Nice. I'm going to watch
Bring
that.
feels.
David, where can people find you online?
Twitter, Instagram at GriffinDE every Monday. Collider TV Talk, and Saturdays doing Star Wars Rebels.
Awesome. Jason, how about you?
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Jawin, Jawiin, every weekday on DCL Access. And then I'm already announcing ahead of John, I will be on the 200th episode of Collider Heroes.
Yes, you will. To keep that seat warm, son, because you know it. Everybody's coming back, including you, Ashley. Where
You
can
can
people
find me
you?
on Twitter and Instagram at Ashley V. Robinson. The V is very important. And every Tuesday, Jason and I co-host the Geek History Lesson podcast. And this week we are talking about X-23. So if you want to learn everything about her in an hour, go listen to that.
And definitely check out their Jupiter Jet. You're going to be able
Oh,
to
yeah,
get
you
it.
can pre-order it on BackerKit.
Yeah. Pre-order that. What is it going to be available at like San Diego Comic-Con? Will it be out by then?
We may have a preview issue at San Diego Comic-Con with a special variant cover.
Nice. Love those variants. Yo, Robert Meyer Burnett, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at BurnettRM, or on Instagram at RMBurnett, or on Facebook at Robert Meyer Burnett. And I just wanted to give a special shout out to everybody that has sort of become my friends in the extended social networking universe because of this show. I want to thank you guys for having me on this show. I've met a lot of really cool people. I've been conversing with a lot of really cool people. It's nice to sort of share the love for comic books. I had some kid from Pakistan contact me when he heard I was going to sell some of my books because there's no comic book stores in Pakistan. I'm thinking, a business opportunity.
That's right.
But I just think it's been great. It's been really fun to be on the show, and thank you all for interacting with me, and I really appreciate it.
John Campea, where can people find you?
100 episodes.
Craziness.
Like how 100 of them come and gone. And it's absolutely crazy. You guys can follow me on Facebook and on Twitter, simply at Jon Campea. To piggyback on Jason's announcement, I'm here to announce I have just greenlit the 200th episode of Collider Heroes. So
I'm not leaving the studio.
So you can come back for that. Also want to let you guys know you're going to find a bunch of us Collider people around WonderCon at the end of this week, or at the end of this month.
Yeah.
But also next month, for those of you in the Florida area and all of you traveling to it, we are going to have a big presence at Star Wars Celebration. We got some big announcements coming about some of the things we're going to be doing down there, so stay tuned for that.
That's right. The Last Jedi trailer will probably drop. Some of us who aren't going to be there are going to be watching it here on our internet, probably crying because Mark Hamill's going to speak. But who knows if he's going to talk? I heard he's going to be silent through the whole movie.
Spoiler alert.
Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for sticking with us for 99 episodes, now 100 episodes. We're going to rock into 101 next week. It won't be a giant size episode, but I wanted to make this one special, like the annuals in comic books, like the giant size special in comics. So that's why we rock such a big crew. Hopefully we do this more often because it was a lot of fun. Maybe we'll do it like on the issue 125, son. So you'll see me next week. Just go to Twitter, Instagram, at Jon Schnepp. I'll see you guys next week.